Hello, everybody. We are live again today on the. I don't know why I'm doing that accent. We are live again today for the inauguration day of President Donald J. Trump. We are so excited, and when I say we, I mean my family, everybody. We are so incredibly excited about everything that's happening. We are just, I mean, ecstatic, and there's just it's ever since he took office. He's ever since he was sworn in. It's just been a it's been crazy. There's just been news coming out of different new things that are happening, people changing how they're doing things, and it's just been a barrage of executive orders that he's been signing. And so, what I wanted to do is on this broadcast is actually on this stream rather is to concentrate on the executive orders and kind of go through some of the executive orders that he's come and signed. It's incredible how many things that he's done already, and we're going to go through those. I have a Twitter account here. I don't if you're not following them, Trump War Room. They've been posting, each time he's been signing a new thing. So we're just gonna go through them real quick, and then we can talk about them as we go on. Now, let me just switch over to the page here. And it took me a little bit while to get going here, but just because Rumble was being weird, and I've been having some trouble with the setup on YouTube, and but we should be live. You guys should be able to see me here. Let's just make sure you guys can see me here. All right, looks like we're all ready to go. If you guys here you guys have any questions or anything like that, and just go ahead and send them to me in the chat. I will love to hear your questions. And if you haven't already, give a dude like, subscribe, follow, share. I have my locals page linked in the description, and it's also in my bio if you're on Twitter, or sorry, X. So trying to get this channel started, trying to get going here. And first few broadcasts are obviously going to be a little bit awkward because I'm getting used to this whole talking to a camera thing and just being on here all the time, but trying to make this a regular thing. Now, just so you guys know, before we get into this executive order thing, I'm not going to be doing purely political stuff on this channel. I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff. I'll be talking about all kinds of current events and news and stuff like that. And sometimes you might even see me do things like just stuff around, the house, fixing stuff, things like that. I live out in the countryside in Oklahoma, and so I'm kind of a city kid going country, so I've had to learn a lot of new things. So basically, I'll be learning how to do a bunch of stuff, and you'll get to see someone who has no idea what they're doing, learning how to do it yourself type stuff as well. So there's going to be all that kind of stuff on the channel as well. If you're watching right now, what we're going to do is switch over to looking at the Twitter account so that we can take a look at the different executive orders and stuff like that. So here we are right here. This is one of the first ones that came out. Looks like, okay, so it says, President Trump has just signed a proclamation declaring a national emergency at the southern border. Okay, let me see if I can play this real quick. Let's see this.
So this is a proclamation declaring a national emergency at the southern border of the United States?
That's a big one. A lot of big ones, huh? You know what that means, huh?
President Trump, did President Biden leave you a letter?
He may have. Right?
So this is a proclamation.
Okay, so there it is. He just signed that proclamation declaring a national emergency at the southern border, which means the border crisis is pretty much going to end. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have an immediate stop to illegal immigrants coming through. And with those illegal immigrants, whether they're asylees or not, here's the thing. The main purpose is to keep our people safe, and we got to stop the criminals coming through, because there are a lot of criminals coming through. I'm sure you've seen the posts about it from tons of people on social media, on TikTok and Instagram Shorts and YouTube and all that. You've seen the kind of problems that it's created. So that's the first one he signed. Let's just go on to the next one. We're going to just keep this rolling. Try not to stick around on stuff too much. Let me just get this back to the beginning here. Okay, so we've got This next one is President Trump signs an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency. Okay, so there's the order that's creating Doge, that is going to be run by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to look at the government and how it's running and how we're spending our money to see if we can just stop spending so much darn money. Okay, let's see if he.
This is an order creating and implementing the Department of Governmental Efficiency, known as DOGE.
Okay, that's a big one.
Is Elon Musk going to get a West Wing office?
No, he's getting an office for about 20 people that we're hiring to make sure that these get implemented. We have a problem in this country. You sign an executive order, it doesn't get done for 6 months. As an example, when we allow the J6 hostages to go out, it might not be approved under the old days for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months. You know, they had a good ruling from the Supreme Court, and it's like nothing happened. That ruling was 6 months ago, you know that. And it was like they didn't have a ruling. They've been treated very unfair. The judges have been absolutely brutal. The prosecutors have been brutal. Nobody's ever treated people in this country like that.
Mr. President, are you commuting the sentences of anyone who assaulted a police officer on January 6th?
Well, we're looking at 2 police officers, actually, that Washington police officers who went after an illegal, and things happened, and they ended up putting them in jail. They got 5-year jail sentences. You know the case. And we're looking at that in order to give them we got to give them a break.
Okay, so a little bit of context there, and it's kind of incredible. You know, the context there being that, you know, in the past executive orders have been signed and things don't happen quickly enough. So it's actually interesting to hear that, and I'm glad that that's part of what he knows he's got to do. He's got to make sure that people have the tools they need to get going on the executive orders. So that's really cool. Looks like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they're not going to have their offices in the actual West Wing. They're probably going to be in an offshoot building or something like that, because most people don't know, but the White House isn't actually as big as people think it is. It's a very crowded, small building. So that's cool. All right, so let's keep going here. I'm looking at this, and it doesn't seem like the Rumble stream is going. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Let me see if I can restart my Rumble here. That's weird. Okay, that's it. Well, if Rumble doesn't get going, we'll keep going here. But yeah, Rumble. There's a lot of issues with going live on Rumble. It's not always straightforward, to be honest. Doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. Let me see if I can just check in on it real quick before we move forward, you guys. Okay, so Rumble is acting weird here. Let's see. Yeah, that's weird. Rumble is not going live. Let's see here. Says this is live. Oh, look, okay. For some reason, it didn't take any of the information that I had put in for the stream. That's hilarious. Okay, let me just fix that real quick, you guys. Just gonna make sure that that stream, people are seeing what they should be seeing. I don't know if this is gonna let me fix it now. Okay, so let's just I'm just updating something, you guys, so that the people on Rumble can see what the rest of us are seeing. Okay, Sorry for the delay. And for some reason, YouTube has done the same thing. It didn't actually put my information into the stream. I'm telling you guys. Oh, wait, maybe it did. Oh, okay, maybe it did. Sorry. Just gonna update this real quick, you guys, so that we can, so people on Rumble can see what we want to see. Just making sure that everything is up to par here. Yeah, a little bit of hiccups here and there, trying to get this going here, you know. Like I said, I'm learning some particularities with this stuff. You know, the thing about these streaming platforms is it's like, and I've done a bunch of tests and stuff like that, and for some reason they still kind of mess up every once in a while. So here we go. Okay, 30 seconds for them to take effect. Okay, cool. So it does look like it's live, but it's not showing the stream information the way that I want to. Let's see if YouTube is doing the right thing. Yeah, YouTube's doing the right thing. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go on to the next thing here. Looks like this is just Trump on a show. Okay, so let's, okay, that's at North Carolina. Okay, here's another one. President Trump has just signed a proclamation declaring a national emergency at the border. Looks like that was...
This is an order for creating and implementing
Yeah,
the
that's
Department
already one that's been done. Here we go. President Trump withdraws. Oh, here we go. President Trump withdraws from the Paris Climate Accords. Interesting. Okay, let's bring this back and let's watch this.
The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty. Yes, sir. We're going to save over $1 trillion by withdrawing from that treaty. The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty.
We're going to stop that. That's amazing. So, the Paris Climate Accords, they're going to withdraw from that. And he says we're going to save over $1 trillion by getting out of the Paris Climate Accords. That is a huge difference. Now, I'll probably take a look at this topic a little bit later. Let me just write it down to make sure. We'll come back to this because we'll take a deeper look at the Paris Climate Accords, what it actually entails and stuff like that. And I will do another video where we talk about the Paris Climate Accords and what kind of stuff that really means and because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't know what the Paris Climate Accords and our involvement in it, or rather our whatchamacallit, our participation in that, what that entails. So we'll take a look at that as well. So that's interesting. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. We've got President Trump has just signed an order officially allowing TikTok to be reinstated while they work out a deal. That's actually great news. Now, here's the thing. In the beginning, I know Trump was really, President Trump was really against TikTok and all that. There was some legitimate fears, I guess, because the CCP was involved, the Communist Party of China, and about having access to so many American civilians and their data and their information, their personal details. So that was a concern. There was other concerns as well. But my take is, I think it had more to do with the fact that the American-based social media companies, specifically Meta, who had, politicians that had significant investments and things like that in Meta, wanted to snuff out the competition. I think it had more to do with that than any kind of security issue, because let's be perfectly honest here, we use all kinds of products and things like that from China and stuff like. I mean, and here's the other thing, right? Like nobody's brought up this same issue with Temu, right? Nobody's brought up these same issues with tons of different things that come from China. So why TikTok? So I think it had more to do with the corporate, marketplace competition than it had to do with really the security risk. That being said, now that it's being reinstated, while they work out a deal to figure out what's going to happen, I think that's a really cool thing. I think one of the things that I saw not too long ago was a proposal that possibly that the government would own, the government as in the public would own like 50% stake in the company, and then the rest would be billionaire investors and stuff like that. Mr. Beast actually apparently, or I just saw a few days ago, went on his Twitter account. Went on his Twitter account, talked to a bunch of people, a bunch of billionaires and stuff like that, and we're putting together a proposal to buy TikTok. So let's see where this goes. Let's see if TikTok gets saved. My personal thing about TikTok, and I'll just put this out there, you guys, is that TikTok, TikTok has its issues, right? Like there's a lot of people who don't use TikTok and all they think it is a bunch of people dancing around and a bunch of thought girls, thirsting and all that stuff. But if you get past that stuff, there's a giant community in TikTok of, independent creators and small business owners and like people who are marketing their Etsy shops and their craft shops and running their small businesses, and they've created a community on there. There's tons of do-it-yourself stuff on there. There's tons of life hack stuff on there. I mean, it's actually incredible how much I've learned about what to do out here in the countryside, because I live out in the country here, from people posting, like homesteaders posting in TikTok. It's an amazing community if you can get past all the hedonistic stuff, right? So it's a good thing that we're trying to save it, because honestly, there's tons of people who depend on it for their livelihood as well. We've created an environment where people are having a hard time getting jobs, people have a hard time putting food on the table, and there's an opportunity through an app like TikTok to be able to make money. And so these people have taken that opportunity, and then it being taken away is kind of like saying, well, okay, don't put food on your table anymore. So I'm glad that President Trump has changed his views on this from where he was before, and that TikTok is going to be coming back. And I'm sure they'll work out some sort of deal. I'm sure there's tons of billionaires in the United States who can put together a plan to keep it going. So that's good. Let's go through here. So next one here. President Trump has officially removed the U.S. from the World Health Organization. Maha, baby. M-A-H-A. This is huge. Let's see if he says anything about this here, guys.
What is it?
Oh. Okay, so let's just scroll back down to that, guys. Let's see, how far down was that? Sorry about that, you guys. It, for some reason, didn't... There's quite a few duplicates here, so we're gonna have to go through them a little bit, but let's see, where did it go? Where'd the one go where he was talking about okay, that's weird. Okay, for some reason, seeing a different feed now on the Trump War Room. That's so weird. Let me just click back on it again here. Trying to find the one we were just at, guys. Paris Climate Accord, there it is. Okay. Let's see if he says anything interesting here. Oh wait, we just watched that, didn't we? Well, let's see if he says anything. Oh, we just watched that, right? Sorry, guys. Let's see. There is this feed's acting weird. Before it was showing me one thing before, now it's showing me something completely different. Let's see if we can find where we were here. I don't know why this feed acted weird, but let's see. Okay, well, let's go to this one, guys. There's another one here. So President Trump signs the rescission of 78 Biden era executive actions. So it'd be interesting to see actually what's in the, like what that list of 78 Biden era executive actions were. This is in one executive order. Let's see if he says or they say anything about what's in there. But it'd be interesting to see what's in that, because Biden did a ton of executive orders as well, executive actions, and they obviously held our country back. So okay, so that was the first one he signed. Let's see. Okay, here's something else. So President Trump signs a regulatory freeze preventing bureaucrats from issuing more regulations until the Trump admin has full control of the government. There it is. Okay, so there's that. All right, so okay, we saw the federal hiring one. Oh, here's one. I'm just gonna see really quick. Okay, he doesn't really talk about it. I'll just read through it. President Trump signs a requirement that all federal workers return to the office. There's apparently something like a ridiculously low amount of people that are actually working in the federal building. There's like 6% who actually come to work, and there's like, you know, of the people that are quote working from home or whatever, there's a very small amount of people that are actually even doing any work. So the requirement for all federal workers to return to the office is a huge thing. I think I would like to see the details of this a little bit more, because I think that, you know, with what happened in the COVID pandemic thing, is that we realized there was a lot of jobs that didn't need to be done from the office and they could be done from home. Now, whether or not, there's a debate whether or not productivity gets affected and whatnot. So there's still that debate, and we're still learning whether it is more productive to go into work or you're working from home, how much work you're actually getting done. But the other point in this that I think I would like to find out what the details are on this specific executive order, is whether or not the return to office is for people who can return to the office, because there's some people who just can't travel. They're you know, they're not eligible to drive or anything like that. And if you live in the United States, if you don't live in the United States, you don't know, like, it's practically impossible to get anywhere in this country without your own transportation. The public transportation, honestly, there's no nice way to put it. It sucks. There's only a few places that really have good public transportation, and even that, like, you can't really rely on. It's late all the time. It's not very good, and hopefully it gets better when as President Trump's this term goes on, they look at those kind of infrastructure things. But yeah, I'd like to know more details about this return to office executive action, because there are tons of people who can be doing their work from home, and it's a technological thing, right? So like I said before, the United States government and the administrative offices are woefully behind on how they're using technology to streamline their workflow. So hopefully there's an exception made for people who don't need to come into work, because there's a lot of stuff that can be done just from home, right? Like, I suspect that you could do data analysis from home, possibly, right? So let's see how that goes. Let's go on to the next one here. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see if he says anything about this one. So this one says, President Trump signs a directive to all departments of the federal government to address the cost of living crisis. I don't think I even have to explain any of that or say anything about that. We all know the cost of living has been going up, and somebody needs to figure out why the heck it's going so out of control. Let's see if he says anything or if he just signs it. It's crazy. It just kind of, oh, quiet. It just dawned on me. It's kind of like watching draft picks, right? Like when they're doing the first draft picks for football teams and whatnot. It's like there's a crowd. How many times have you seen a crowd cheering for a president signing executive orders? I mean, he's in an audience of like all these people, and he's signing executive orders. This is like he's signing on to a team, and they're gonna give him a jersey. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that people are getting this interested again in what's happening with their governance. I think this is a really, really cool thing. Let's go on to the next thing here. So President Trump signs a directive ordering the federal government to restore and protect free speech. Now, okay, we all know how important this has been. So free speech has been trampled on. If it wasn't for, I really truly believe that if it wasn't for Elon Musk, we would have lost free speech in this country, and if not the world. Him buying Twitter and turning it into X, and then hopefully what's going to become the Everything app, it's going to make things a lot better in terms of free speech. We were being constantly, censored. I mean, I've been involved in a couple of different projects where that's happened. I was part of the Vax team that did the Vaxxed movies, Vax 1, 2, and we went out around the country, and some other countries in the world as well, where we drove around in an RV and we asked people, we just interviewed people and asked them to tell us their story about how they'd been vaccine injured. And it's, it was crazy. It was actually crazy what we found out, but we got censored all the time. And all we were doing was basically just recording people telling us their story. And for that to get censored as bad as it was, I mean, you can't even find the YouTube channel anymore. The YouTube channel's gone. It got taken down for community violations, content violations. So, making sure that the government restores and protects free speech is a big thing. Also, when the Twitter files came out, after Elon took over and turned it into X, and they released the Twitter files, it was obvious that the federal government and individuals within the federal government were actually forcing social media companies to censor, and mostly conservative and dissenting ideas. And that's a clear violation of the freedom of speech. So that this is a good thing. I'm glad that that's going to happen. I don't know how that that's going to be policed, if you will. But let's see how that goes. All right, next one here is President Trump signs a directive to the federal government ending the weaponization of government. Weaponization of government against political adversaries of the previous administration. So there you go. So let's watch it really quick. So that's really interesting, right? Because the Democrats and the liberals and the woke and the left and the legacy media have all been saying that, oh, we can't let Trump become president because as soon as he gets in, he's gonna go after all his political adversaries and people who got in his way and all that stuff from the previous administration, and he's gonna do all this crazy stuff. Well, he just signed an executive order saying that he's going to end that weaponization of government. So, called them on that, right? Okay, let's go on here. President Trump tosses pens to supporters after undoing 80 executive actions of the Biden administration. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's watch this. Actually, this will be kind of funny. It's like he's a guitar player on stage and a drummer or something throwing sticks and picks into the crowd. Let's see this. That's awesome. I would love to have one of those pens. It's like a concert, it's like a show. Politics has never been this entertaining, right? Like, not that it's supposed to be entertaining or needs to be entertaining, but the fact that it is entertaining means that people are actually getting involved and people are getting, interested, and they understand the importance of the things that are happening. Some of those pens are memorabilia. Like they're collectible because it's like, if you think about it, it's like he used that pen to sign something that was really, really important. So that's really cool that he did that. He's an entertainer for sure. Here's that thing. So report from Daily Wire says only 6%. There we are. So only 6% of feds work from an office full time, and some aren't working at all. Audit finds. You may be more likely to see a ghost than a bureaucrat haunting the halls of some government buildings. So that was back in December 5th of 2024. So that's pretty crazy. So it's a good thing he signed that. Let's go on to the next thing here. Okay, so looks like this might be a link to the list of things. So maybe we'll take a look at that. Let me just load that into another tab here. Trump signed an executive order rescinding Biden exec orders, including advancing racial equity and support for undeserved communities through the federal government, and advancing equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex individuals. Okay, so that's part of that that like group of like 70 something, executive actions that he rescinded. Let's see if they actually write them out here. Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit, guys, so you can maybe read it better on the screen. Okay. All right, so here's the executive. Okay, purpose and policy. The previous administration has embedded deeply unpopular inflationary illegal and radical practices within every agency and office of the federal government. The injection of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, into our institutions has corrupted them by replacing hard work, merit, and equality with a divisive and dangerous preferential hierarchy. Orders to open the borders have endangered the American people and dissolved federal, state, and local resources that should be used to benefit the American people. Climate extremism has exploded inflation and overburdened businesses with regulation. To commence the policies that will make our nation united, fair, safe, and prosperous again, it is the policy of the United States to restore common sense to the federal government and unleash the potential of the American citizen. The revocations within this order will be the first of many steps the United States federal government will take to repair our institutions and our economy. Fantastic. Let's see. So Section 2, revocation of orders and actions. The following executive actions are hereby. Okay, so here's the list. Executive Order 13985 of January 20th, 2021, advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. Nice. Executive Order 13986 of January 20th, 2021, ensuring a lawful and accurate enumeration and apportionment pursuant to the decennial census. Interesting. I'd have to look into what that actually is. Okay, we'll have to look into that, what that is. If anybody knows, he can put it in the thing. Let's see. Executive Order 13987 of January 20th, 2021, organizing and mobilizing the United States government to provide a unified and effective response to combat COVID-19 and to provide United States leadership on global health and security. Interesting. Order 13988 of January 20th, 2021, preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. First of all, how do you even do that? Okay. And you know what the funny thing is that we already have equality, and things against judging someone or stopping in proper hiring practices and equal opportunity hiring practices and things like that. We have those things. We have laws to not discriminate based on race, gender, and all that stuff. So what is this, right? Like, it's like an extra group of people that are also taking more tax dollar to, like, well, how are they even finding out? Are they going around policing companies and whatnot? This doesn't make any sense. Okay, Executive Order 13989 of January 20th, 2021, ethics commitments by executive branch personnel. Interesting. Some of these I'm going to have to look into. Executive Order 13990 of January 2021, protecting public health and the environment and restoring science to tackle the climate crisis. Okay, so that one's interesting because it sounds like to me that it is or at least what the executive action probably originally did was put together a group of scientists and whatnot to prove that climate crisis, that there was a huge climate crisis that had an existential, existential kind of problem with how we're doing things. So that's interesting. So it was probably an executive action that was helping with climate crisis propaganda, pretty much. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Executive Order 13992 of January 20th, 2021, revocation of certain executive orders concerning federal regulation. Interesting. I wonder if that has to do with federal regulations that are affecting businesses to prosper and whatnot. Executive Order 13993 of January 20th, 2021, revision of civil immigration enforcement policies and priorities. I'm going to have to look into some of these. Executive Order 13995 of January 21, 2021, ensuring an equitable pandemic response and recovery. There it goes in with the equitable equity stuff. And I've seen stuff about this before, the equitable pandemic response and recovery. What it actually did, honestly, and I've seen tons of reports of this, even from people who were involved in the program, or rather that had to dole out the response and recovery. They said that there was definite partiality to certain groups based on this action, and it basically created more of an imbalance. So that's interesting. Executive Order 13996 of January 2021, establishing the COVID-19 Pandemic Testing Board and ensuring a sustainable public health workforce for COVID-19 and other biological threats. Man, that's a whole nother rat's nest I don't even want to get into right now. But yeah, I'm sure that that's a good thing here. Executive Order 13997 of January 2021. January 21st of 2021, improving and expanding access to care and treatments for COVID-19. See, the COVID-19 thing, man, like, now that we know all the lies that were fed to us, all the propaganda that was fed to us, oh, if you get the vaccine, there's definitely no way you're going to get the virus. And now that I said that word and I've been talking about that, I'm sure my YouTube video is going to be taken down. But, at least we have X and Rumble, right? Okay, so let's move on here. Executive Order 13999 of January 21st, 2021, protecting worker health and safety. What the hell does that even mean? There's OSHA, there's all that stuff. There's workers' comp, there's business insurance, there's liability insurance. There's all these things already exist. What does protecting worker health and safety even do? Like I said, I'm going to have to look into these in more detail. Executive Order 14,000 of January 21st, 2021, supporting the reopening and continuing operation of schools and early childhood education providers. Interesting. That might have to do with the fact that they closed them down in the first place because of the stupid COVID-19 restrictions they put in place, which is unnecessary if you didn't do the first thing in the first place. So that executive order was rescinded. Order 14,002 of January 22nd, 2021, economic relief related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Once again, if you didn't lock down everything and you didn't make it so that businesses were shutting down and long-term small business owners were having to shut down their things and people weren't losing their jobs because they were being coerced into taking the jabby jabs, maybe the economic relief wasn't necessary. But okay, so that was rescinded. 14,003 of January 22nd, 2021, protecting the federal workforce. In what way? I would love to read some of these. I swear I'm going to save this page. I'm going to bookmark this page and I'm going to go through these and I'm going to read these executive orders, because some of this stuff is like so vaguely described. The title almost is like, and this executive order is to protect the thing, Okay, so Order 14,004 of January 25th, 2021, enabling all qualified Americans to serve their country in uniform. I wonder what that's all about. I wonder what the qualifications are, right? Like, they have to qualify what the qualified Americans are to serve their country in uniform. Like, and why is there an executive action to enable something that should already be there? It's probably because they want to add people into the qualified litmus, if you will, that probably shouldn't be there. They're probably doing that, but who knows? We'll have to look into it. Once again, gotta read these things. Order 14,006 of January 26, 2021, reforming our incarceration. Let me try that again. Reforming our incarceration system to eliminate the use of privately operated criminal detention facilities. Now that one's interesting, because what I think about that is privately operated criminal detention facilities are kind of a problem, because it's an incentive to incarcerate people. I don't know. That's a weird one. Okay, 14,007 of January 27, 2021, President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. Okay, so he probably signed into office or like signed them on. Executive Order 14,008 of January 27, 2021, tackling the climate crisis at home and abroad. What the hell does that even mean? Tackling the, I gotta read the details on these things because honestly, some of this sounds so unnecessary, which is why it's being rescinded. Let's see. 14,009, January 28th, 2021, strengthening Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. Listen, I get it. I get that the Affordable Care Act was like, and I fell for it too. I'll be the first one to admit it. I fell for it too. I was like, oh, it's the first step to like having proper, universal health care or whatever. And mind you, I was born and raised in a place that had universal health care, and it actually worked really, really darn well. I was born in Hong Kong, and it worked really, really well there. I'm not saying that it could work the same way in the United States. The landmass, the population spread, and the density of the population, and the resources and infrastructure it would take. I'm still on the fence about whether or not universal healthcare would even work here, or single payer healthcare would even work here. I think that there's a way to do it. But I don't know, because there's a lot of debate whether or not, like for instance, people think, oh, universal healthcare, like, oh, Canada, blah, 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 they can do all this stuff and stuff. But then you hear these stories about people who've had to wait hours, months, years to do this stuff. And I've heard about this stuff in Australia as well. A very good friend who had a family member that had to have a surgery scheduled. And because that surgery could only be scheduled because of a certain type of equipment that only existed in a certain hospital, they couldn't schedule it for like 6 to 8 months. But it was a life-altering kind of surgery that had to be done. It was very important. And so there was this whole thing about how to pay for the equipment to come to a different thing, and it was a whole thing. So single payer healthcare is, if it's done right, yeah, maybe it's great. If it's not done right, So Affordable Care Act, was it the step in the right decision, or was it the step in the wrong decision? In my personal view, I think the Affordable Care Act, as it was presented, I was like, oh, cool, we're moving in kind of a cool direction here. But then the practical application of it obviously didn't work out because everybody's premiums went up, or at least most people's premiums went up. All right, I'm not going to bash on too long here. Let's go on to the next one. 14,010 of February 2nd, 2021, creating a comprehensive regional framework to address the causes of migration, to manage migration throughout North and Central America, and to provide safe and orderly processing of asylum seekers at the United States border. Wow, that was a mouthful. I'm guessing they got rid of that because they're going to just go down to basics, and Homan's going to go down there and be like, listen, if you're applying for asylum, you stay on the opposite side of the border while your application is being processed. That's the way it should work. And then you wouldn't have to figure out the causes of migration, and that's another thing too. A comprehensive regional framework to address the causes of migration, like, we know what the causes are. You're not stopping them at the border. It's an open border. That's probably just a money laundering thing, trying to funnel money into other people's pockets. Order 14,011 of February 2nd, 2021, establishment of interagency task force on the reunification of families. Okay, so that's probably once again based on that border thing. Because they made that whole big deal about how you were separating families and all that. 14,012, February 2nd, restoring faith in our legal immigration system. Restoring faith in our legal immigration system and strengthening integration and inclusion efforts for new Americans. So, essentially a marketing plan. Another word for that is propaganda. 14,013, February 4th, rebuilding and enhancing programs to resettle refugees and planning for the impact of climate change on migration. Oh, so now they're putting their two favorite things together. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of these. Guys, I don't think I'm going to read through all these. I might just put this link in the thing. Let's go to, wow, there's a lot of these. Okay, so this stream is not going to be that long. So let me go back to the executive signs. I'll put this link in the description. I'll post it again later. By the way, if you haven't liked, shared, subscribed, follow, please go ahead and do so. I'm trying to grow my channel and trying to make this into a thing so I can bring this news and this information to you, and plus bring all kinds of other kind of content. So like, share, subscribe. It helps brother out, and we're gonna be great there. Also, if you look at my bio and if you look in the description of some of the videos, you will see a a link to my locals page where you can do a monthly donation or a one-time donation to help me keep this thing going, keep the lights on, and keep the camera on, and keep the mic on. Let's see here. Just gonna take a little sip here. This is a celebratory drink, by the way. Because we made it. We did it. Trump's back in office. So, all right. President Trump pledged on campaign trail to withdraw the United States from the globalist job-killing Paris. Okay, so he did that. Promise made, promise kept. Nice. Right? Okay, so, oh, here it is. Okay, let's see if he says anything about this. This is awesome. President Trump has pardoned approximately 1,500 January 6th political prisoners of the Biden era. There are so many people that are still locked up, okay, for just practically doing nothing and being there on January 6th. And those people have been treated horribly. So they've been pardoned. So let's see if he says anything about that. This is cool. You see that? He knows the details of these things too. He's not like just signing away like Biden was, because Biden didn't know what he was signing. Here, let me actually take that back because I was talking over the thing. Sorry, guys. Six commutations, and there's that's incredible. 1,500 people saved from being political prisoners. That's, guys, that's a huge thing. These people have suffered for basically participating in being a citizen of this country. Those people didn't even do anything wrong. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't violence at G6, okay? Before anybody jumps down my throat, I'm not saying that nothing happened. Bad things did happen, first of all, and what did happen that wasn't good shouldn't have happened, okay? As the left would like us to say, I condemn all the actions that were violent, okay? Yeah, but there was tons of people there that should not have been locked up, that should not be political prisoners. They were literally in there because the people that locked them up wanted to make an example of people who were peacefully protesting. You know, the left likes to use the whole peaceful protest thing, and then the whole cities are burning down. Obviously, there was some violence and stuff like that on January 6th. There were some things that were done wrong, but the majority of the people that were there did not need to be locked up. So that's okay. President Trump signs a proclamation. Let me try that again. President Trump signs a proclamation guaranteeing the state's protection from the invasion at the southern border. Awesome. I'm guessing what that's going to mean is that these states are going to have the right to protect themselves. I wonder if that was constitutionally allowed in the first place. But this might be like a reaffirmation of it or something like that. Let's see if he says anything. Okay, interesting. Someone in the press pool asked a question. Let me see if I can turn. Let me see if I can turn it up. Okay. So I think it was a question. It was a little hard to hear the beginning of that, but it sounded like the person in the press asked the president if like how what makes him confident that these executive orders and things like that he's signing, especially this one about the southern border, are not going to be blocked in the courts. They're executive orders, and it's interesting. It's a really good question. Right? Because what if the states individually in the courts try to block that executive order? Is there some kind of recourse that the federal government has if a state or government of a state decides that they are not going to follow through with that? That's interesting. Good question by someone in the press corps. Okay, next one here. President Trump signed an executive order realigning our refugee admission program to better align with American interests. Interesting. Let's see if he says anything about this. Okay, guys. It did the thing again where it went forward too far. Let me just okay, here it is again. So let me just put that back up and let's try it again. Sorry, guys. Once again, that's President Trump signed an executive order realigning our refugee admission program to better align with American interests. All right. I have just realized I don't think you guys can hear the audio anymore of the thing that's coming through on the thing. I'm sure you can still hear me because I can see my thing here, but let me see if I can reload. Let's switch back here. Sometimes I'm still trying to figure out a couple things. I'm running on OBS, by the way. For those of you who might watch this and think, well, how is he doing this stream and whatnot? I'm using OBS, and eventually I'll put together a list of all the equipment that I'm using to do this stuff. Mind you, I'm still learning how to use OBS in a little bit more detail. I'm usually more of a vmix guy. I don't care. I don't think most of you probably care, but those of you who are into streaming and stuff like that might know the names of these what I'm saying here. But I'm still learning a little bit about how to work some of this stuff. Let me see if I can reload the browser share thing and see if we can get the browser audio to come back. I'm just gonna play this audio here. Let's see if I can. Mm-hmm. All right, apologize, guys. Just trying to make sure. Had a little issue with. I'm having a little issue with the audio playing back, so I'm just checking to make sure that the audio from the browser is coming through. Uh, okay, let's see if we can load that back up. Okay, not sure if you can hear that audio anymore. That's weird. I don't know why that audio suddenly went away. Okay, it doesn't look like he's really saying much, so I'm just gonna kind of start rolling through these because we've already been streaming for quite a while here. Let's start kind of rolling through these. Most of these he's just signing and moving forward. So, oh, there it goes again. Okay, let's go back down here. So he did. Okay, so once again, that was President Trump signed an executive order realigning our refugee admission program to better align with American interests. Okay, all right, so that's an interesting one, right? Defining more clearly or clear, defining in a clear way what it means to be a refugee, and seeing if that refugee program is actually beneficial to our country. So I think that's kind of a smart thing. And executive order to protect America from foreign terrorists at the southern border. Pardon me. Executive order to protect America from foreign terrorists at the southern border. Right. So he's declared these cartels and whatnot as foreign terrorists, right? I'm guessing what this does is make it possible for things like the National Guard and the military to get involved because we've actually classified these individuals as terrorists. I think that's going to be cool. Once again, just making the border more secure. So that's cool. Here's another one. Designating the cartels as there it is. Designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. That's probably just going to be like, the umbrella to being able to then do the one that was from before. Executive order to protect American people from the invasion at the southern border. Okay, so even more detailed refinement of certain things, and that's it's actually interesting that these ideas are being split up into different executive actions. I don't know why that's necessary. I feel like maybe they could have been, combined, but maybe it's because each one has to be individually defined and the law has to reflect them individually because there's specific things that each one can do. And if in different situations, different things need to be applied, they need to be separated. Possibly, who knows? I'm not entirely sure how that works. If anybody knows, is a lawyer or a constitutional lawyer or anything like that, go ahead and comment and let me know. By the way, it's been a little minute here. If you can like, share, subscribe. If you haven't done so already, follow me on X. Subscribe, follow, share on Rumble and YouTube. Help a brother out. We're trying to grow this channel. I'm going to keep bringing content like this, going through this and telling you guys what's going on. Once again, my content isn't going to be just purely political. This is just what I'm doing right now because today was a historic day in the evolution of our beautiful country. So I figured it would be a perfect day to start doing broadcasts. So let's move forward here. Let's see. Okay, executive order clarifying the definition of birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. Now, I wonder if I can get the audio to play for this. I don't know why it wasn't. Oh, there it is. It did it again. I just mistakenly hit the link on that. I don't know why it slides up when it does that. Yeah, so the birthright citizenship thing is interesting, right? Like I think that and I want to look into the details of this because I think that defining this is very, very important because you don't want, and I hate using the term anchor baby, but like you don't want people illegally coming into this country. First of all, stopping, illegal immigrants is the first stop. But if they come in and then they have a child, just so they can use that as a quote, and I hate the term, but pardon me for using the term anchor baby. If they have a child in the country and then suddenly they're using that child as a way to stay here, definition of anchor baby, then that's not really cool, right? Like it's like it's just not it, or it's like remember when you were playing like hide and seek or catch or something like that, and you had a safe zone, and like you'd be running and the person would be right behind you, and you're gonna get caught, so you'd like take like something that you have that's long, like a stick or something like that, or you put your hand, or you just put like your shoe, or you like. I had a friend one time, honestly, that was running, and I almost caught him, and he took his shoe off and threw it into the safe zone. He said, well, my shoe's in the safe zone, so you didn't catch me. I think that's like exactly what an anchor baby is. So it's a good thing that they're defining this. President Trump signs a proclamation declaring a national emergency at the southern border. Yes, because it is. Anybody who says that it's not an emergency, not a total crisis that needs to be stopped, obviously does not understand the amount of people that have come in illegally. Okay, and what it's done to cities like New York. Actually, guys, let me see if I can load this up really quick here. Let me see if I can bring this up. If you guys, because this is one of mine and my wife's mine and my wife's favorite channels. One of them is this content creator named Cash Jordan. All right, Cash Jordan lives in New York City, or I think he still lives in New York City, and he has been doing just an incredible amount of content where he's shown what is, and I'm sure you can see it on the screen here. Let me just oh, that's Luigi there. Look at this. It's just look at this. I mean, obviously some of these are AI images and stuff like that, but basically every single one of his videos for like the past while has been what the migrant crisis, what that's doing to the United States. Mind you, Cash Jordan's channel used to primarily be about real estate, okay? And then it turned into, oh my gosh, my city is being ruined. Why is it being ruined? And all this stuff. So anybody who says that there isn't a crisis at the border is, you know what? Forget it. There's no need to be nice. They're just friggin' stupid, okay? It's just completely stupid. So a shout out to Cash Jordan. Honestly, like citizen journalism at its best. This guy does amazing videos, and he really dives into the problems things are causing. Things that are happening, that are what's happening, and then what's happening to the regular, or not regular, but the native, residents of those states, of those cities, of New York City. So it's an incredible channel. Go ahead and follow Cash Jordan, because the guy has been outlining some really crazy stuff. In fact, because of his videos, a lot of my views have changed as well. So Cash Jordan, great channel. Go check it out. All right, let me go back here. Let's see here. Oh, President Trump finds the letter left to him by President Biden. I wonder, let me see if I can get the audio going. Come on, guys. Why is the audio not coming through? Let me see if I can just reload the browser really quick, you guys. Give me 2 seconds, okay? Because I want to see if I can get this audio going here. Just going to reload that input and see if I can get that going. There's a few finicky things happening that I'm going to have to go back and do some, figuring out. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this audio works here now.
Don't they leave it in the desk?
Okay, so let me go here. All right, so President Trump finds a letter left to him by President Biden.
President Biden leave you a letter?
He may have. Wait. Don't they leave it in the desk? I don't know. Oh,
What's in there?
thank you, Peter. It could have been years before we found this. Wow, thank you.
What do you say on the outside?
Maybe we should all read it together.
Let's read it.
Well, maybe I'll read it first and then make that
That
determination.
sounds great.
Peter, thank you very much. I may not have seen this for months.
Happy to help with the passing of the torch.
I did. I left him one in the desk just like this.
Okay, so he didn't read it. He's going to, hopefully he reads it later. That would be really cool to actually see that. Unless there's some kind of like Nicholas Clay's national treasure kind of information. Go to the library and pick out a book. And let's see here. I wonder, if he does find the letter and he does read it, that would be really cool. I wonder if there's been letters in the past where a president has given the next president some kind of like really secret piece of information that only the president should know. But at the same time, I kind of also doubt it too, because, there's the whole deep state, right? Like there's a secondary underlying government that exists. And it's not conspiracy theory. Obviously it exists, and they obviously keep the president they probably keep the president ignorant of those facts for multiple reasons. First of all, they don't want him to know because they don't want them to be impeded on what they're doing, and they probably don't. And then the other reason is plausible deniability, right? Plausible deniability is a real thing. So yeah. Sorry to go on the rabbit hole there, but I've always been interested in what those letters from the previous president to the next president, what they might say. Okay, so let's see if we can hear this one here. Back.
This is an executive.
So wait, hold on. What does this one say? President Trump signs an executive order to secure the southern border.
This is an executive order taking a large number of executive actions to secure our southern border.
Okay. Sounds reasonable.
President Trump, we remember 4 years ago, Barack Obama had told you that the top threat to the country was going to be North Korea. Did Joe Biden tell you what he thinks the top threat to the country is
No,
right now?
no.
Why not?
I think we have a lot of them.
What do
Right
you
now,
think is the top
I think we
threat?
have a lot. I think North Korea turned out to be good. I was very friendly with him. He liked me. I liked him. We got along very well. They thought that was a tremendous threat. Now, he is a nuclear power, but we got along. I think you'll be happy to see him coming back.
This is an executive order taking a large number of
That's an interesting question. And that's the other thing too, right? Is that like, because President Trump is respected, at the very least feared, there is a sort of Machiavellian like strength of a leader type thing going on. And I think North Korea at least understands the strength of President Trump. And there's probably a mutual respect there, because it's that whole game recognized game thing. So I'm glad, because like Trump was the only one that crossed that border. I mean, when I saw that video, by the way, blew my mind. Blew my mind. I was like, is he literally walking in? Like, the president of the United States is crossing over into North Korea. Like, just, I mean, that's just, I did not think that I would ever see that in my life. So that's really cool. All right, let's keep going here. I know I'm taking my merry old time, and there's just so many of these. He came into office and he was just like, I'm gonna do everything tonight. He's probably still awake doing stuff. Guy is unstoppable. Everybody, literally everybody that's met him says it's unstoppable. Like Dana White, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk is unstoppable. And for Elon Musk to say that, President Trump is unstoppable, and he's an Energizer bunny, right? Like, it's crazy. Okay, here we go. President Trump restores merit-based hiring to the federal government. I don't think we really need to watch this video. It's only 19 seconds long. It's probably just him signing it. Let's move on here. This one's a minute. Okay, so this is a little bit of a longer video. Let's see what this is. President Trump signs an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. There it is. Okay, so I'm guessing in this video, somebody probably asked him a question or something else. Let's take a look.
This is an order creating and implementing the Department of Governmental Efficiency, known as DOGE.
Okay, that's a big one.
Is Elon Musk going to get a West Wing office?
No,
Oh, we did this one already. This one we already this one. So I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Cap. Okay. Yeah. People. Okay. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Drill, baby, drill. Here it is.
First, we have Alaska, sir. This is an
President Trump signs an executive order unleashing Alaska's potential as an energy reservoir for the entire nation. I don't know if most of you know, but Alaska has immense oil reserves. And what's crazy is that, we're not tapping into that, like, pretty much at all.
executive order relating to unleashing Alaska's potential as an energy reservoir for the entire nation.
and what about ANWR?
I believe that would be included in aspects of the order.
So we're opening up ANWR.
On the TikTok piece, President Trump, you and your members of your team now used to warn about the dangers of TikTok spying on Americans. What changed that you're not worried about that anymore?
Well, it depends on the deal. I mean, I may not do the deal or I may do the deal. TikTok is worthless if I don't approve it. It has to close. I learned that from the people that own it. If I don't do the deal, it's worthless, worth nothing. If I do the deal, it's worth maybe $1 trillion, $1 trillion. So if I do the deal I'm talking about doing it for the United States. If I do the deal for the United States, then I think we should get half.
First, we have Alaska, sir.
He spoke on TikTok there a little bit. That's going to be interesting. I think honestly, if they can work out a deal for TikTok to be there, and then the American public, the American populace, citizens of this country, and if we can benefit from the ownership of like a stake ownership in TikTok, I think that could be a huge thing. I think that would be a really huge thing. And mind you, I personally know people who didn't have anything going for them, and then TikTok made it possible for them to start their own small business, and they're able to feed their children. So I really hope they reach a deal. I would actually be really cool with. I would be cool with Mr. Beast being at the helm of that. I know people have a problem with Mr. Beast. I know there's always controversy going on, but like anybody at the top of their game is gonna have people being like meh. So I think Mr. Beast would be a good person to have there, because he's not just like a really good. He's not just really good at the social media YouTuber thing. Like he understands the mechanism beyond that. which is that the symptomatic response to a properly done social media platform, right? Like he went out and built 100 wells and stuff like that, and the strength and the possibilities and the opportunities that can be made off of the, off of these opportunities of social media, and how things can be marketed and sold and all this stuff. Like the opportunities, what's really at. I just really quickly here, I want to take a look at this image really quick. Let me just click on this image. Look at that. It's just a stack. And he's doing this on his first day. Dude has probably had, I called him a dude. He's the president of the United States. Called him a dude. President of the United States. Okay. He just had like the craziest, like the inauguration day. He's done so many things. He's probably, or actually, I shouldn't say that. Who knows, right? Like, dude, like he's probably so energized. Look at this. Look at all this stuff. Look at all these executive orders. Okay, there's all these people. This is the NFL of like, this is the world, it's the World Series, the World Cup, it's everything. This is how we should be looking at how the important things of our country really matter. So hold on, let me read this really quick. Shock and awe. Welcome back to an open and transparent White House where the President of the United States delivers for the American people. Heck yes. Look at this. Look at this. The executive orders, a full transparency. Look at all those people from the press there to actually, and he's taking questions too. Do you remember when Biden wasn't taking questions? He would just do one of these weird smiles and walk away, like what, or his handlers would be like, that's enough, everybody out, and just shuffle everybody out. President Trump has had a long day, and he's sitting there signing all these executive actions and executive orders and taking questions and just being open about it, and having the people beside him describe what he's talking about. So yeah, shock and awe. Indeed, shock and awe. Actually, no, not shock. Not shock. Awe. Let's see, what's this? Oh, dang it, it did it again. Let me just go back. Guys, I'm not a big fan of a little bit of this interface situation. Let me see if I can go back. Is that it? Yeah, that's where it was. Okay. All right, so President Trump signed an executive order to keep TikTok alive so that deal can be reached. Okay, so someone asked him the question earlier. Now he's signing the thing. It's 17 seconds long. Let's check it. Let's just see.
He's good. He's doing a good job. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know what's going to happen with that. He's got some very strong ideas. Now, Marco.
You signed Did you sign the TikTok order?
Yeah.
Yes, that was just.
Marco Rubio said yes.
Just signed.
How many?
Still
There you have it, guys. TikTok. Listen, I really hope they can figure out some way to keep it, because and I'll tell you this, the reason I believe that is purely because there are so many people who've been able to create a livelihood out of TikTok, and people are like, well, why don't you just jump to another platform? Here's the thing, guys. It's not that easy. Okay. I mean, I'm starting off this channel. I'm trying to grow it. I've been trying to grow my X following, and it's been slow going. It's been slow going. It's hard. You post. You provide content. You do what you think is and there's an argument that can be made, but that a lot of my posts were like reposts and stuff like that, and whether or not that's really providing content and doing forward. But that's why I'm starting this channel. I'm doing this thing. And I know this is going to be a hard road. I know this is going to be hard to grow a platform. Anybody who's tried to grow a platform knows how hard it is to do so. Okay, and if the platform and the content isn't the product, meaning like the product is something that you're making, building, selling, Etsy, whatever it is, right? And you're like, oh, I got to do this social media thing. And mind you, like I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. That's another thing. Gary V, if you're not watching Gary V, you got to watch Gary V. One of the most motivational people in the world, and gets you to understand the intricacies and the nuances and the importance of how social media is the essential new internet, right? Like how it dwarves any other marketing apparatus from before. And something he said that I truly believe, and I agree with, like if you're any kind of company, organization, institution, political, politician, public figure, whatever you are, if you are not doing social media and you're not doing it well, you're gonna go by the wayside. So TikTok, as much as people poo-poo it or whatever it is, it's important because all these small businesses depend on it to be able to sell their product. These aren't quote corporate companies. Like these are mom and pops. Okay, these are American citizens. These are people with families. These are people with children and pets and like these are people who depend on that. So I really hope they come to some kind of deal.
Doing a good.
All right, so let's go to the next one. Executive order to bring reforms to the federal workforce. Not entirely sure what that means, but we're just going to skip the video on that one because it's really short. President Trump signs a declaration of national energy emergency. Heck yes. The national energy emergency. Heck yes. Listen, if you don't know, there's a clip. Let me see if I can find it really quick, because it would be a really cool thing to. Oh, that's YouTube. Elon Musk solar. This is a interesting clip, and I want to show this to you guys because I think that it could change the way
this out.
You possibly think about how and I'm not just trying to like push like an electric future or whatever, something like that, even though I think that is the future. Here, let me go back here. See, President Trump signs a declaration of national energy emergency. That's important, okay? And I'm guessing that most of that has to do with drill baby drill and whatnot, but I'm guessing that a little bit of that probably also has to do with, making sure that we're tapping all the potential that exists within our country and our corporate interests and the innovators and all these people to be able to make sure that the United States is independent in terms of its energy, right? And people are like, well, what's the matter? Well, like, why is it so important to be energy independent? Well, I'll tell you why. Because there are geopolitical issues, there are geopolitical ramifications for not being energy independent. There are so many things. Like, here's the thing, okay? If you live in a neighborhood and you're in Mower Bakerstown, okay, you do not have a mower, you do not have the budget to buy a new mower, and you are constantly, when you need to mow your lawn, borrowing your neighbor's mower, you are now beholden to that neighbor in some way, shape, or form, depending on the altruism of that neighbor, right? But all of like asking for putting yourself in a position where you do not have the leverage of your assets or your influence or your abilities is putting you in a compromised situation. Okay, so national energy emergency. I'm glad he's doing that. Let me just watch this video.
This next one, sir, is a declaration of a national energy emergency.
So you also
That's
have
a big
several-
one. You know what that allows you to do? That means you can do whatever you have to do to get out of that problem. And we do have that kind of an emergency.
President Trump, at some point will you use your powers of the presidency to tell Americans who are concerned about drones?
Yeah.
A few weeks
Good.
ago,
Yeah.
what exactly
I
was
will.
happening?
Okay, so unfortunately that video got cut early, but a reporter asked about the drone situation. And it sounds like President Trump was gonna be like, no, we're gonna let the public know. I wish they'd kept that video going a little bit longer. But let me go back to that other video, because that energy efficiency and thing. Let me just put this out there. Now, people have criticized this video. People have criticized. People have said, "Oh, that can't be true," right? But I believe the dude. Let me just play this video. So hopefully you can hear it. Let me just. I hate it when it like does the low quality thing. Okay, here it is.
I mean, first of all, it's important to appreciate that the Earth is almost entirely solar powered today.
Let's try that again, guys.
I mean, first of all, it's important to appreciate that the Earth is almost entirely solar powered today, in the sense that the sun is the only thing that keeps us from being at roughly the temperature of cosmic background radiation, which is 3 degrees above absolute zero. If it wasn't for a sun, we'd be a frozen dark ice ball. And the amount of energy that hits the sun, that reaches us from the sun, is tremendous. It's 99% plus of all energy that Earth has. Then there's this energy we need to use to run civilization, which to us is big, but compared to the amount of energy that reaches us from the sun is tiny. So it's very easy. Like, it actually doesn't take much. If you wanted to power the entire United States with solar panels, it would take a fairly small corner of Nevada, Texas, Utah, anywhere. You only need about 100 miles by 100 miles of solar panels to power the entire United States. And then the batteries you need to store that energy to make sure you have 24/7 power is 1 mile by 1 mile. So one square mile. that's it. I showed the graph of or image of this where this is what 100 miles by 100 miles looks like. It's like a little square on the U.S. map. And then there's a little pixel inside there, and that's the size of the battery pack that you need to support that. Real tiny.
No one seems to know this.
Go away. So if you haven't heard that before, I would take that into consideration. Now, here's the thing, okay? I want to make this perfectly clear here before anybody jumps down my throat. I believe in drilling. I believe in oil products, because here's the thing: oil and gas are. It's not just what you're putting in your vehicles and you're burning to do whatever, right? It is also in everything. Literally everything petroleum based. Like literally everything we make is a petroleum based, product. So. I'm not saying that we need to get away from oil and gas. Like, maybe, eventually we can figure out a way to get away from it, depending on how we figured out how to use, hemp fibers and stuff like that. But that's a whole nother discussion. But national energy emergency, I think that's important. And I hope that there is a future where we can secure that part of like Nevada or whatever. And there's like solar panels, and then we've developed the technology so that it doesn't cause as much of an environmental impact, and I hope we figure it out, because if that's all, based on what Elon just said, if that's all that's necessary to power the entire United States, man, that could change that could change a lot. And I'm not saying like green, sustainable, environmental. No, I mean like economically, it could change a lot for people. Okay. President Trump signs an executive order to hold former government officials accountable for unlawful disclosure of sensitive information. Interesting. See what he says about this. This is a 31-second video.
Everybody wants to know. And I wouldn't want to, but we were having some crazy conversation. Why are you asking a question like that? I don't think you want to know. You might not.
You just signed.
You might be insulted.
It's an executive order relating to holding former government officials accountable for unlawful disclosure of sensitive information.
Okay. All right. So it's probably they probably have some kind of information
You
that
look like you were having.
there have been leaks in that fashion. So this is a 56-second video. What is this about? President Trump signs Benny Johnson, by the way. President Trump signs an executive order tapping into Alaska's energy resource to fuel the nation's growth. This is a 56-second one. Same thing again, but let's
First, we have Alaska, sir. This is an executive order relating to unleashing Alaska's potential as an energy reservoir for the entire nation.
And what about Anwar?
I believe that would be included in aspects of the order.
So we're
sir.
opening up Anwar.
So
On the
maybe
TikTok piece, President Trump, you and your members of your team now used to warn about the dangers of TikTok spying on Americans. What changed that you're not worried about that anymore?
Well, it depends on the deal. I mean, I may not do the deal, or I may do the deal. TikTok is worthless. Worthless. If I don't approve it, it has to close. I learned that from the people that own it. If I don't do the deal,
Okay, so that's the same video we saw earlier. I'm just looking at something really quick, you guys. Trying to see if haven't really seen anybody in the chats or anything like that. Hey, it's the beginning of this channel. Trying to grow it. Hopefully eventually people will get to it. They see more of it, and we grow. We'll get there. Rome wasn't built in a day. So not that I'm trying to build Rome. Jeez. Let's see here. Just refresh that. Let me see if that fixed. Oh, yes, it did fix. Good. Okay. Let's go back here. By the way, I'm just looking up this Alaska, the Anwar thing that President Trump just mentioned. I just want to see if I can find any information. I'd give you guys a little bit of a insight. Okay, let me pull this into the screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing as well. I just looked up really quick. Maybe I should just ask Grok as well, actually. Okay, so let's see. Hope you can see this. Let me see if I can do this. Wait, is there a reader format? Show reader. Bam. Oh, that's so much nicer. Okay. Okay, so Anwar is a location. So the coastal plain of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Let me try that again. The coastal plain of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge ranks as one of the most controversial chunks of land in Alaska. Since Congress set it aside for more study in 1980, environmental groups, politicians, and the oil and gas industry have battled over whether to explore for petroleum there or to protect the wilderness forever. Interesting. Okay, so that's what President Trump was talking about in terms of whether or not we were going to open up Anwar for ANWR for drilling. Interesting. Yeah, mixed feelings about this, of course, but I wonder if there's a technological response to being able to preserve the wildlife yet still being able to, still being able to pump out the natural gas, still being able to pump out the petroleum and stuff like that. Yeah, there's got to be a way, right? Okay. The close plane or yeah, looks like it could be a gigantic. Oh wow, USGS. Look right here. USGS estimates that somewhere between 4.3 and 11.8 billion barrels of oil in the coastal plain. That's a lot. That could completely, that would That would put some real pressure on OPEC, I'll tell you that. Okay. All right, let's go back here. So, Alaska, terrorist cartels. There's another person posting that same picture. The most transparent president in history is back. Yeah, okay, so efficiency, 10 president signing with strong password. Okay, President Trump signs an order to ease the permitting process and regulations in order to unleash American energy. Okay, now you've heard President Trump and Elon Musk talk about how regulations have really stopped the innovation of, the innovative industry of being able to figure out how we can move forward with energy. So that's really cool, man. That's really cool. We're finally going to be able to move forward and figure out how to change that. Okay, President Trump withdraws the United States from the World Health Organization. I think we already said that, but one more time, let's watch this because this is huge. The World Health Organization, honestly, is in my personal view, is a criminal organization. Okay, it's a money laundering, conspiratorial organization that does not actually care about health. It's all about funneling money and making sure that the pharmaceutical military industrial complex, because let's be honest, I think those two things are actually tied together at this point, are that they're playing partiality to that industry. So let's just see what happens here.
What is this one?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir?
Ooh, that's a big one. So we paid $500 million to World Health when I was here, and I terminated it. China, with 1.4 billion people, we have 350 to pay. Nobody knows what we have because so many people came in illegally, but let's say we have 325. They had 1.4 billion. They were paying 39 million. We were paying 500 million. It seemed a little unfair to me. So that wasn't the reason, but I dropped out. They offered me to come back for 39 million. In theory, it should be less than that, but and when Biden came back, they came back for 500 million. He knew that you could have come back for 39 million. They wanted us back so badly, so we'll see what happens.
Mr. President, you
Pretty
spoke
sad
about-
to think of it. China pays 39 million and we pay 500 million. And China's a bigger country.
Mr. President, you spoke about inflation today in your remarks. What actions are you taking today that will have a direct impact for Americans on their everyday costs to bring the cost down?
The biggest thing and factor for inflation is energy. They screwed up my energy policy. And then they went back to it. They heard it really badly, and then they went back to it, and they started drilling more. But by that time, it was too late. Many of these things that we're signing, and that Doug Burgum is going to be signing, and Chris Wright, who's phenomenal, Energy Department of Energy, we're going to be taking a lot. We're going to make a lot of money from energy. We have more than anybody else. We're going to make a lot of money from energy. We're going to make a lot of money from tariffs. European Union charges us. They have a VAT tax of 20%, but it's really much higher than that. And that's the equivalent, almost the equivalent of a tariff. And they're tough. They're very tough. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm product. They don't take almost anything. And yet we take their cars, or we take their farm product. We take a lot from them. So, we have like a $300 billion deficit with the European Union. So we'll straighten that out with either tariffs, or they have to buy our oil. The one thing they can do, or oil and gas, the one thing they can do to catch up quickly, buy our oil and gas.
Will you travel?
And they should do that.
Will you travel to China this year?
Yeah, it could be. I've had the invite.
Mr.
President Xi
President,
I would
invited
do
you
it,
to
yeah.
come this year?
talking about the European Union and the tariffs, what do you mean when you say that European Union country is part of BRICS?
That a what?
BRICS. You said
Oh, BRICS. No, I was talking about BRICS. BRICS is 6 nations. I think it's 7 nations. And they were looking to do a number in the United States. And if they do that, they won't be happy about what's going to happen to them.
Are you still
Mr.
considering a
President.
universal tariff, Mr. President, on all countries?
I may, yeah, but we're not ready for that yet.
That was awesome. So many things there, right? World Health Organization, China with so many more people was paying less than we were paying, like way less. World Health Organization, honestly, I don't even see the reason for being a part of it. Until the amount of corruption and the amount of oligarchical, let me try that again, oligarchical like conspiracy that is involved in co-opting and coercing the populace of the entire world and turning it into a globalist like pharmaceutical indentured servitude economy. I don't know. I have a real issue with the WHO. I've watched a lot of their stuff. I've watched a lot of their content and the way in which they conduct business and their ideas for how to move forward in the world, or into the future. And I gotta tell you guys, like, pay a little bit more attention. I'll do some videos about WHO. I'll see if I can broadcast some stuff. And if you haven't seen some stuff like chd.tv, that's chd.tv. They do a thing called WHO Watch, Who Watch. And if you go to chd.tv, you'll be able to find videos where they rebroadcast the WHO meetings and stuff like that. Just watch those. Just watch those and tell me what you think, because it's a whole thing. By the way, if you haven't liked, shared, subscribed, followed, please go ahead and do so. It helps a little channel out to grow. I'm trying to get to the point where we can do more of this kind of stuff and I can provide you with more content and we can grow and I can do all kinds of cool stuff. I'm just doing this today because it's Inauguration Day. It's a really important day and we just want to get, we really want to put a pin, a flag, and make sure that people understand that today is a historic day. And that's why I'm covering all these executive orders as well. Let's move forward here. Okay, so we're out of the WHO. Okay, so next one. Thanks to President Trump, American women are hereby protected from radical gender ideology. Let me go back here because it just did the thing again. I gotta stop clicking on the actual post because it takes it over into the thing. I gotta make sure I'm not out of frame. I realize I've been getting out of frame a lot. All right, so let's go back, you guys. There it is. Okay, let me see if I can play this video.
Protecting women from radical gender ideologies.
Ooh.
Mr. President, going back to the World Health Organization, you were the president during COVID. Don't you see the importance of an organization like that to coordinate a global response?
Okay, just really quick, if you didn't hear the question come through, the question was, you were president during the COVID pandemic. Don't you see the importance of it being part of a organization like the WHO to help with the situation? Okay, I paraphrased a little bit, but that's basically the question. Here's Trump's answer to that.
Sure, I do, but not when you're being ripped off like we are by the World Health. World Health ripped us off. Everybody rips off the United States.
I do see the importance, but not if we're being ripped off. Hold on, I gotta do the thing.
Ooh.
Mr. President,
I love how he says things like, matter of fact, he'd be like, I do see the importance. Okay, that's sorry, my impressions are horrible, but I do see the importance, but not if we're being ripped off. Dude, it's awesome how he can just like, because he basically just shut down that question. Yeah, I see it's that important, but they're not going to steal money from us. Come on, right? All right. Let's go back to thing. All right. So let's see. Where's this guy? Day one, President Trump is undoing Joe Biden's dangerous week appeasement policies by reinstating Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism. Blah blah blah. Okay, let's go back here. Let's go. Let's see. Cries office immediately. Okay, we've all seen that. I'm just gonna scroll through here, guys, on Trump War Room, and see if there's anything new that he's put out or that they've put out to see if there's any other stuff that he's signed. Okay, so looks like that might have ended. I'm gonna refresh the page to see if there's anything new, just in case that he's still doing stuff. Oh, that's a cool picture, you guys. Look at that. You know, it's a crazy day, guys. It's a crazy day. Is that a cake? Is that a cake plane? Is that a cake? I'm gonna turn the music off because I don't want YouTube to strike my video down again because there was music or content that wasn't mine. Yeah, pretty sure that's a cake plane. I wonder if Amari Gashan did that. By the way, Amari Gashan, if you don't know, General Maxwell. I'm just making sure that he hasn't done anything else here. I mean, he's probably done way more than that, but that's what's been covered. Let's see if we can just check real quick. Let's go into the search. Here we go. Let's just put in executive order. And then let's see if there's anything that pops up. That's actually great. For the past 40 minutes, Trump has been answering questions from the press and signing executive orders simultaneously, a skill that after 4 years of Biden feels almost mythical. That's hilarious. Oh man, that's funny. Biden, you know, you did that a lot, right? There's that video again of him throwing the pens out. That's really cool. Wish I had gotten one of those pens. Promises made, promises kept. Heck yes, 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 heck yes. Okay, so there's tons of stuff that he's probably signed. They didn't. Not seeing coverage of everything here, but that's what we have. Okay, there's 115 personnel actions, 42 executive orders, more than 200 executive actions, 60 minutes of press Q&A, 3 historic speeches. That, yeah, once again, Donald Trump's historic first day at office. Yeah, that's a lot in one day for a person, you know. 42 executive. I'm gonna just do it one more time. President Trump's historic first day at office, 42 executive orders, memoranda, proclamations, 115 personnel actions, more than 200 executive actions, 60 minutes of press Q&A, 3 historic speeches. And that's 60 minutes of press Q&A because this is just in the, you know, in the Oval Office and whatnot. I'm sure that he was just answering questions to everybody because he was being swarmed by press. So, guys, this is probably one of the coolest, most historic inauguration days of all time. President Donald J. Trump is back. We are so ready to go here. He did some amazing things already. The day is not even over. You know what's gonna be funny? You know how the news organizations do the first 100 days. they're gonna have to do like a week-long first 100 days report, because he's done so much just on his first day. It's gonna take all day for them to just talk about it. So excited, you guys. Thank you for being on here. If you were watching, once again, if you haven't liked, shared, subscribed, smash that like button, share, subscribe, follow. Make sure you check out my profile, follow me on X, check out my locals. I will be building the locals out more. But if you like what I'm doing here, go ahead and give a brother some love. You know, give me your like, your share, your subscribe, your follow. And then if you feel like donating, donate, because I want to put more content out there just like this, and even more different types of things. And I want to just keep bringing it to you guys. I think that's it. All right, you guys. All right, signing off. Thanks for joining. My name's Anu. This is Anu Gets Real, and we just got real. Take it easy, guys.